Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Star Wars Wednesday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with Star Wars The Black Series, Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Let's get into it! Let's begin with a look at the packaging. And here we have on the top, the peg hook thingy, a couple of pieces of tape, nothing else really. Star Wars The Black Series, nice big window showcasing Obi-Wan and his lightsaber. He's number 4 in the Revenge of the Sith subline. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. Warning, don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. Ages 4 and up. There's the assortment number if you need that kind of thing, and Hasbro print. On this side, this stripe from the front continues on upward at an angle and around to the back. Star Wars The Black Series at the very bottom. Nothing else above that stripe. On this side, we've got the nice artwork of Obi-Wan. And you can see Mustafar in the background. And I've already gotten rid of Lieutenant Gaul's packaging. But just so you can see it, here's Anakin's. And that's how it looks when they line up. I usually don't do this because I usually don't save the stuff that long. But there's that. I think that looks pretty good together. I'm not going to keep it for that, but still think it looks good. On the back, Star Wars The Black Series. That's that same artwork of Obi-Wan. And then here it says Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan is forced to battle his friend Anakin Skywalker in a devastating lightsaber duel after Anakin turns to the dark side. Nobody saw that one coming. And then here we have the same stuff in different languages that I don't read. Again, he's number 4 in the Revenge of the Sith subline. That I guess they just started that as a subline. I don't know. Anyway, attention! Don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there, especially your French one. Warning, attention, Octoon, don't stick things in any other language pie hole that do not belong there. Don't give it to babies. Includes figure and accessory. Small fine legalese made in China print, Disney print, Hasbro print. And there you have it, my friends. That is a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories, or accessory, however you like to look at it. So first up, we have his lightsaber blade, and it's made out of that nice translucent blue, and looks very cool. A little bit of a mold defect on it there. Well, not mold, but where they took it out of the mold or cut it out the sprue, perhaps. But easily rectified. And then a very little post, or a very small post, rather. But it fits in the lightsaber handle nicely. And speaking of lightsaber handles, let me knock Obi-Wan down so we can take a look at it. Just kidding. Stand back up, Ben. Wait, he's not Ben yet. So we got some handy dandy tweezers here to help us take a look at the lightsaber hilt of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I'm going to guess that it is molded in a black plastic, and then we've got this nice gold paint app here and the silver here and here. And just throughout, it's very nice. Oh, look. There's some gold right there, too. Very nice molded details. I really, really like the look of this. I'm assuming it's accurate to the screen. And then he's got a post on it, or it has a post on it right here where it plugs into his belt, which we'll take a look at. In fact, let's take a look at it right now before I forget. So right here on the side, you can see Obi-Wan has a port, and it just plugs right in there. So very nice. And now that I've got Obi-Wan in my hands, let's take a look at him. And I have to say, I think they did a pretty good job on the head sculpt. Again, and I'm going to be comparing this to the Anakin figure as well while I'm talking about it. So just like that one, it's not 100% accurate to the actor. The Anakin wasn't 100% like Hayden Christensen, and this one isn't 100% Ewan McGregor. But I do believe it's close enough. So I think they did a really good job on the printing for the eyebrows and the eyes, and maybe the beard as well. Looks like they messed up a little bit right there, though. Or maybe that's just a little bit of white that he's got in it. Yeah, because it's on the other side. It matches on the other side as well. So I'm assuming that's intentional. The hair looks like it's a separate piece from the head. Glued on, and you know, that's fine. I don't have any problem with them doing that. So unlike the Anakin figure just had like these straps were separate from the rest of the figure. This whole piece, the whole upper tunic piece here, is one big overlay for Obi-Wan. You can see it's hard plastic up under there, but this outside bit is, you know, all one overlay. And it's a little bit thicker than the one on the Anakin figure. So we got some nice paint going on here. Not a whole lot on the back side of the torso. It's just pretty plain. Pretty much like the front. His belt, we've got some silver and gold rods here. We've got some gold accents here on the belt. Again, the port. And then no paint apps on the back. In fact, no paint apps on the back of this figure at all. So, and then very little on the front as well. I guess all the paint went to the head. Now, like the Anakin figure, these lower tunic pieces are very thin compared to what we normally get. So that's good. They do get up and out of the way. Now, as far as the longevity of it, you know, that's something different. And then, you know, no paint or anything going on the legs. And not, you know, I mean, wrinkles. There's plenty of wrinkles in the pants, but no real texture. So I'm not sure that Obi-Wan's pants really had texture. But there is some textural detail going on here in, you know, the tunic part. So that's good. And then the boots are rather plain. It's got a little strap down here, and then, you know, some stuff across the tops of the feet. And that's about it. Now let's take a look at his articulation. Now, like the Anakin figure, the head, neck, and torso are 3 separate pieces with a ball joint at the bottom of the neck and then a dumbbell at the bottom of the head. And in conjunction, that lets him look up slightly because of this overlay piece is kind of getting in the way. And then he can look down like that. He's got plenty of chicken neck. He's got plenty of waggle. And at the shoulder, he's got butterfly just like Anakin. So, you know, goes back that far, goes forward that far. So it goes back much further than it goes forward. So there is that. He can rotate at the shoulder 360 degrees. And not quite a 90-degree bend there at the shoulder. But I think the overlay is getting in the way of that. So, single hinge and swivel at the elbow, swivels around 360 degrees and gives you that much bend. So not even nearly as much as the Anakin figure got. But like Anakin, he's got, you know, the wrist is on that, I like to call it that Indiana Jones Adventure Series ball joint. but it's not exactly like that. But as you can see, there's another piece in there for the forearms that is separate from the sleeve that's also on a ball joint, and I hope y'all can see that. So that gives him a little bit extra movement, and so it gives the arm and hand here, or wrist, a nice bit of range. So 360 degrees of rotation there as well, and you can kind of see, maybe, no, can't really see it on the camera, how it's got that peg there. So, and it's like that on both sides, so it's up and down, in and out, all around. At the waist, it's on a half dumbbell or ball joint, whatever you want to call it. So that gives him plenty of hula, ladies. 360 degrees of rotation. He can lean left and right. He can lean back that far, which is better than Anakin could get, and forward that far, which is not as much as Anakin could get. Again, no pull down hinges in the hips. He can give you that much of the splits, which is approximately what the Anakin figure could give. He kicks forward approximately 90 degrees, so that's pretty good. And then back with a little bit of outswing that far. Again, that's about what Anakin got as far as range. And because it's on a ball up here, you get a little bit of twist there, but there's no cut at the thigh, as you can see there. So at the knee, a 360 degree rotation because of single hinge and swivel, and then it gives you that much bend, which is approximately 90 degrees. And just like Anakin, even though there's a swivel right here at the knee, right below the knee there's a boot cut, and it also gives you a 360 degree rotation. And I think that's more for just because, you know, this is one piece that just plugs in there. I think it's more for that than to actually give extra articulation. And then at the ankle, tilts down that far, tilts up that far, and then forward facing pin for rocker. And then one thing I didn't show is the lightsaber blade, and you just port it in to the port and then slide it in his hand if it's ignited. And there I go bumping the camera because it's a Digital Caveman Presents review. And let me straighten that back up. There we go. So there you have it, my friends, a look at the figure and his accessories and storage. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have Star Wars The Black Series Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan Kenobi, with Star Wars The Black Series, the very first release of an Episode 3 Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Black Series. Then we have Star Wars The Black Series, The Clone Wars, the Target exclusive Obi-Wan Kenobi. And finally, Star Wars The Black Series Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, Obi-Wan Kenobi. For our last set of comparisons, here we have Star Wars The Black Series, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan Kenobi, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. For a 7-inch scale comparison from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on Star Wars The Black Series, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'll have to say this guy has been a long, long time coming. That original Black Series Obi-Wan from Episode 3, at the time we thought, hey, it's a 6-inch Obi-Wan Kenobi, really cool. But as the line progressed, not so much was that Obi-Wan really cool. The sculpt was, or at least the face sculpt of it was really not great. The articulation, while it had plenty of articulation, it just, I don't know. Overall, that figure just doesn't look super great. And this one is much, much, much better. Improved articulation. He has butterflies in the shoulders. He's got Indiana Jones Adventure Series wrists and forearms. You know, they're on a ball joint inside. His forearms are on a ball joint inside his sleeves as well. That gives an added range of motion to the figure. Now, from the waist down, he's pretty much your basic, you know, Black Series. Although I was surprised that in addition to the single hinge and swivel at the knee, he also had a boot cut. So the boot cut was surprising, but I don't know, probably that part between the knee and the boot they've reused or have plans to reuse, and it makes more sense for the boots to be a separate piece. So it may not be they put that there for added articulation, just easier part reuse. So I have to say, I think they did a really good job on his lightsaber this time around. Not that, you know, usually they do a good job on Obi-Wan's lightsaber. The colors and stuff on this one really good though. And I really like the overall look of it and the overall look of this figure. And if you got this one, I'm sure you probably got the Anakin, and they go well together. I unfortunately was not able to procure one of the San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. I would have much rather had that set with all the extra pieces rather than the single carded versions that didn't have all the extra pieces. And when I'm talking about the pieces, I'm talking about the extra heads and hands and lightsaber effects, swishes and swooshes. So, you know, they already had those pieces. I don't know why they wouldn't include them here. At least the hand and maybe the heads, I can understand why they would keep that exclusive to that set. But the swishes and swooshes and stuff, I think, you know, should have come with these figures as well. But that's just me. Hasbro's mileage varies. I'm sure they'll do another release at some point, like Duel on Mustafar Obi-Wan and Duel on Mustafar Anakin, and they'll dirty them up and they'll give, you know, the alternate heads. And maybe the swishes, probably not the hands though. But, and at least give us like a more dirtied up battle used look for on Mustafar, burn holes in the tunics, for instance, and, you know, just dirty them up a bit. And they may have done that in the San Diego set, I don't know. But from the pictures I saw, they were pretty clean looking. But overall, I have to say, if you missed the San Diego set, like I did, then, you know, this is your option if you don't want to pay secondary market prices for stuff. That's if you can still find them in stock at this time. So, if you wanted them, I hope you found them. Because if you've got that original Obi-Wan or Anakin, and these updates are really, really needed for the line. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Content comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content, or just to help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.